Welcome to the latest episode of On the Desk of Brian, an easygoing podcast where I explore a mix of my personal interests. In today's episode, I look at the popularity of solar power, how AI may assist with to-do list management, Fox's big purchase of Roku, and much more. Our first article comes from Sherwood News, where Millie Giles wrote about how solar energy just hit a milestone in the United States. For the first time in American history, solar generated more electricity than coal in a single month. In May, solar supplied 12.8% of U.S. electricity generation, edging out coal, which came in at just 12.2%. Coal was the single largest source of American energy from 1984 all the way until 2010. Today, its monthly share has been cut nearly in half in just the last 5 years, with April setting an all-time low and May coming in as the fourth lowest ever recorded. Solar, meanwhile, has now climbed to become the third largest source of electricity in the country overall, sitting behind only natural gas and nuclear, and it remains the nation's fastest growing power source. The U.S. added 7.8 gigawatts of new solar capacity in just the first quarter of 2026, spread across more than 6 million installations nationwide. Do you have a to-do list that feels too long? And even when starting to tackle that list, you find it difficult to decide which to do first? Or Violeta Loredana from Earth's Attractions wrote an article where she suggests that AI can be assistive in tackling this problem. To do this, she has five prompts to help. Her first prompt is called the Triage prompt. This prompt asks AI to rank tasks by real urgency, separating what truly needs attention today from what just feels urgent. You get a top 3, a secondary 3, and a delay or delete list. The second is called the Eisenhower Matrix prompt, where it sorts the tasks into 4 buckets: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither. This is helpful when your list mixes work, errands, and other people's requests. Third is the energy bucket prompt. In this prompt, tasks are grouped by cognitive demand, such as deep focus versus quick wins versus errands, and asks for both a main plan and a lighter backup for low energy days. Next, the Ruthless Elimination prompt asks AI to label each task as do it, delay it, delete it, delegate it, simplify it, or turn it into a smaller first step. And that last prompt offered to help tackle to-do lists is in the 15-minute momentum prompt. This prompt helps you to tackle tasks you keep avoiding. It does this by breaking it into micro steps of 15 minutes or less, with a clear done for today definition so you can actually start. Please check out the show notes for a link to the article, which includes the prompts themselves that you can copy and paste right into the LLM of your choice. Next up is an article by Gavin Phillips in Make Use Of. Gavin's article gives practical tips to get better speed when using a hotspot. First, he suggests looking at whether you're on the 2.4 GHz or 5 GHz band. While the 2.4 GHz band is able to travel further, it is slower. He suggests that you are almost always near your hotspot, so it makes more sense to be on the 5 GHz band. To do this on an iPhone, he says you go into Settings and turn off Maximum Capability, and then look at which data network you're using. Locking it into a 5G connection, you're going to get faster speeds than the 4G LTE. However, if the option is there, Gavin suggests choosing 5G Auto rather than 5G On, which avoids losing connectivity entirely in areas that you might have a weak 5G signal. Next is a very consumer-friendly article from 9to5Mac and written by Ryan Christoffel. In his article, Ryan writes about how AT&T has just launched a new data plan for iPads. The plan is called an unlimited day pass, and it costs $3 for 24 hours of unlimited wireless data on the iPad, and the first day pass is complimentary. The article mentions that no existing AT&T account is needed. Activation instructions seem very straightforward. Essentially, you access the Settings app, cellular data, and add AT&T Unlimited Day Pass. You will need a cellular-equipped iPad that is eSIM-capable to use this plan. This plan is ideal for situations such as home Wi-Fi outage, when traveling, or at any time where temporarily needing a cellular access is important, and you don't need a weeks or months of use. There are many people who insist that their vehicle, whether their own or one that they must rent, include CarPlay. Apple continues to update CarPlay to continue that trend. Shakir Morota, writing for Digital Trends, writes about some of the updates CarPlay will have with the iOS 27 update. First, if the car manufacturer enables it, you will be able to watch video apps while parked. Next, you will also now be able to scrub audio in the Now Playing app, which allows you to jump to any point into a song or podcast. Third, a small music or podcast player will now sit in the top right corner of the CarPlay dashboard so you can see what's playing and control it without having to leave the navigation screen. Then, if you're using an iPhone 15 Pro or newer, you'll be able to take advantage of Siri AI, which will also store conversations in the Siri app with a car icon to indicate conversations when using CarPlay. To check out more details on those updates and others coming to CarPlay, please check out the show notes. Did you hear that Fox is buying Roku? Todd Spangler from Variety wrote about the details of the deal. Fox Corp announced that they are buying Roku for $22 billion. The deal is expected to close in the first half of 2027. For that $22 billion, Fox will gain the Roku brand that has 100 million global streaming households and includes its connected TV platform, as well as the Roku channel. With this acquisition, the company will include Fox's live sports and news content and the free streaming service Tubi, which itself includes 100 million monthly users. It will become then the third largest player in the U.S. television by share of viewing. Spangler also shared that the Roku brand unanimously approved the sale, and it's keeping its founder, Anthony Wood, in a leadership role. Fox has also pledged to keep Roku running as an open, partner-friendly platform, which is important for other streaming services that depend on Roku for distribution. And now a word from a company who is definitely not a sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by TaskSun Pro, the AI-powered productivity planner that runs entirely on solar energy. That's right. While coal is out here still trying to be relevant, clinging to its last 12.2% like it's 1987, TaskSun Pro is powered by clean, fast, third largest source of electricity in America, solar energy. We added 7.8 gigawatts in just the first quarter of 2026. We think your to-do list deserves that sane energy. Here's how it works. You dump your overwhelming task list into TaskSun Pro, and our AI sorts everything. Urgent versus important, deep focus versus quick wins, do it, delay it, delete it. We even have a 15-minute momentum mode for that one task you've been avoiding since February. You know the one. And just like you should be on the 5 gigahertz band instead of 2.4, you're right next to your hotspot, people. TaskSun Pro keeps you on the fastest path to actually getting things done. No weak signals, no losing connectivity, just 5G auto for your brain. Available on any eSIM-capable device. First day free, just like that AT&T iPad plan. Task Sun Pro, Cole, couldn't prioritize its tasks. Don't be Cole.
And thank you to Claude and Vexel for today's Not a Sponsor segment. The New York Knicks are the NBA champions, having defeated the San Antonio Spurs 4-1. As a Suns fan, I'm glad for a couple reasons. First, I never want to see the Spurs win another title again. Second, I'm happy to see both Mikal Bridges and Landry Shamet earn a championship ring. It's an interesting last decade plus in the NBA. Since the Raptors won in the 2019 finals, we have not had a repeat champion. Looking back at nearly 80 years of NBA champions, there are plenty of examples where certain franchises have dominated the association. The Celtics winning 18 titles, including 8 straight from 1959 to 1966. The Lakers winning 17 of their own, and the Warriors earning 7 titles, and 4 of them coming in 8 years, between 2015 and 2022. Of course, there was the double three-peat where the Bulls won 6 titles in 8 years, between 1991 and 1998. As the 25-26 NBA season is now in the rearview mirror, it'll be interesting to see if the Knicks can repeat, or if recent history will continue to prove true with a different winner hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy next June. Raghav Mehta of Sportskeeda has our next article, where he wrote about Pittsburgh Pirates ace pitcher Paul Skeens' option of the MLB owner's proposal for the new collective bargaining agreement with the MLB Players Association. December 1st, 2026, the current agreement expires. Raghav adds that the owners have reportedly put forth a system with a hard salary cap of $245.3 million and a hard floor of $171.2 million, as well as a 50-50 revenue sharing and full sharing of local TV revenue. The Players Association's Bruce Meyer estimated that the owner's proposal could cost players $500 million along if it was already in place. Skeens, referring to the owner's offer, said, "I think their offer was very, very bad." Skeens also added that the players are united and willing to let games be canceled rather than accept an unfavorable deal. For reference, the last CBA negotiation in 2022 resulted in a 99-day lockout that canceled spring training games though the regular season was spared. Mandatory minicamp is now over in Green Bay, but there was a lot of standouts from those practices. Gil Martin from the Packers Post discusses who stood out. First was edge rusher Lucas Van Ness, who had a strong showing and generated constant pressure on quarterbacks. Couple on top of that, Micah Parsons is expected to miss the first part of the season, so Van Ness's pass rushing will be especially important. Next, Gil Martin said that running back Marshawn Lloyd had a lot of bad luck with injuries. He was looking strong and explosive. Offensive lineman Jager Burton, also for fifth-round rookie, competed for playing time in training camp and has had a chance to earn a spot to play, stepping in for Aaron Banks' absence. Tight end Josh Wiley also stepped up in training camp, with Kraft and Musgrave out due to injury. Jordan Love says Wiley, "Since we've been back in OTAs, he's been making plays." Another edge rusher, Brenton Cox, also showed promise of getting player time again because of Parsons' lack of availability to start the season. And finally, Gil Martin was high on wide receiver Isaiah Nair, coming into the 2026 camp with momentum and building on his familiarity of the playbook from last season. Next up is an article written by Damon Allred of Arizona Sports, citing a story from NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. Brandon Sorsby is now planning to enter the NFL supplemental draft this summer instead of suiting up for the Red Raiders. Catching you up on what led to that decision. Sorsby transferred to Texas Tech from Cincinnati this spring in a deal reportedly worth $5 million. But when it came out that he'd placed thousands of bets including on his own team, while redshirting at Indiana. He ended up going through a rehab program in Goodyear, Arizona, and the NCAA initially ruled him ineligible. His camp fought back in court, and just last week, a Lubbock County judge sided with him, limiting his punishment to a 2-game suspension and clearing him to play this season. So that ruling, though, didn't go over too well around the country. Georgia, Nebraska, and Michigan all moved to cancel matchups with Texas Tech across all sports in response. And now, despite winning that legal battle, Sorsby's walking away anyway, betting on his future at the NFL instead. Will Hammond, who started against ASU last season before tearing his ACL, will now step in as Texas Tech starter. Both ASU and Arizona still have Big 12 trips to Lubbock on the schedule this fall. Michelle Gardner from AZ Central wrote an article recently on how ASU basketball coach Randy Bennett has nearly completed his first roster overhaul, having filled 14 of 15 scholarship spots. Michelle notes that the Sun Devils basketball team will be very tall this year, having 3 7-footers and 4 others standing 6'8" or taller. While ASU basketball was nicknamed Guard U for its plethora of guards on the team, this season's team only features 4 guards. Michelle shares that fans should expect a slower, half-court offense rather than the up-tempo, transition-heavy style fans were used to under former coach Bobby Hurley. There's also a large international presence on the team. 8 of the 14 players are from foreign nations, including 2 from Lithuania, 3 from Australia, and 1 from Italy, Serbia, and Venezuela. Many of them have professional league experience, which Gardner estimates will have more of a mature profile than a typical college squad. And to build on future years, Michelle reports that 10 of the 14 players have eligibility remaining after this season, allowing Bennett to build continuity. So that wraps up another episode of On the Desk of Brian. If you like what you heard today, please be sure to follow and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. If you want to find me between episodes, I'm found often on Mac Voices Live, which records Tuesday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Please visit my website, brian8944.com, so you can keep up with all my ongoing and upcoming projects, and you can also connect with me there with any feedback you may have. So until next time, so long for now.